Cameron Heyward is pissed off at the NFL for their bad schedule making, putting the Steelers in a terrible situation. So, the Steelers so far this season have been dealing with a challenging schedule, and captain of the team, Cameron Heyward, is not happy about it. On his podcast, Not Just Football with Cameron Heyward, he went at the NFL schedule makers and is pissed off. So, they were stacked up 4 straight weeks of short weeks in a row. And this all leading up to their season finale against the Baltimore Ravens. Usually later in the season, you don't want to be playing on those short weeks. Earlier in the season, when your body is already kind of brand new and you're getting used to the football season again, sure. But later in the season, as all the wear and tear adds up, you don't want to be on the short weeks. And it seems like the Steelers are getting all their short weeks towards the end of the season. So, the Steelers' 2023 season has been marked by an unusual number of short weeks in a row. These weeks, if you remember, it included week 13 when they faced the Arizona Cardinals. They followed up with a short week on a Thursday night football game in week 14 against New England Patriots. And then the Indianapolis Colts the week later, and then Cincinnati Bengals on a Saturday the week following that. And now once again against the Baltimore Ravens. So Cameron Heyward, he didn't kind of mince words when expressing his frustrations with the NFL scheduling decisions. He pointed out the inconsistency and the league's concern for players' safety and health. Here's his rant about it and what he had to say. Okay, one thing I want to bring up, though that's kind of ticked me off. In December, we played 3 Saturday games, and we're going to have played 3 Saturday games and a Thursday game. We talk so much about player safety and player health, right? We've literally decreased our chance to recover game to game for an entire month. That just is kind of shocking when you think about it. So that's what you have to say. And when you look at it, he's 34 years old. Cameron Heyward, 34. He possesses a wealth of experience in the NFL, and his body has been through a lot. And this season, he's been through a lot of injuries. In his career, he hasn't really dealt with that many injuries just from outside looking in, but this season he has. And obviously throughout a grueling season, Cameron Heyward didn't like the short weeks after being injured all season. Later towards the season ending, you don't want to be in those short weeks. Earlier in the season, your body could take it more, but towards the end of the season, you can't. And especially when you're getting ready for the playoffs, if the Steelers do make it, it's just going to put them in a bad situation. Because next week, they're probably going to be on a Saturday game as well if they do make the playoffs. But the Steelers, they've been dealing with short weeks. Cameron Heyward has called out the schedule makers in the past because of this. And once again, he does it on his podcast this week. Before I give you another quote of Cameron Heyward, I just want to give my thoughts on this because I understand where he's coming from, saying the Thursday game to a Sunday game and then a Sunday game to a Saturday game. But now it's back-to-back Saturday games, so it kind of is a week of rest. If you think about it, usually a game would be Sunday and then another game would be Sunday, but now a game is Saturday and a game is Saturday. I guess what he's trying to say is the games where it's Thursday to Sunday and then Sunday to Saturday, that's not a full week, but this week is a full week. So I kind of understand where he's coming from, but he probably should have made these comments last week instead of this week, where they actually do have a full week off of rest. But anyway, he had another frustrating quote that he said on his podcast. Here's what he had to say, and it's basically what I have been saying throughout this video so far. We're trying to make strides in protecting the body. We're trying to make strides in keeping quarterbacks upright. But dang, you're taking away a recovery day. That's we've had almost every week throughout September, October, November. And then we get into December because we're trying to sell tickets and we're trying to push the streaming to another level. You know you're screwing us in the process. So he's basically saying what I said throughout the beginning of the season. The Steelers really didn't have any short weeks, but now towards the end of the season, the most critical point in the season, trying to sell tickets, trying to put games in prime time, they're playing the Steelers on a short weeks, and obviously Cameron Heyward does not like it. And obviously Cameron Heyward, He's getting older and older, and he even was talking about his future in the NFL past the season, and he didn't make any certain claims on his future and his playing days past the season. So we really don't know how much longer he has left, and especially because this season took a big toll on him and injuries piled up on him, and stuff has not been going his way. So we really don't know what the future holds for him because he did not make it certain that he will be playing beyond the season. But based off his contract situation, I do think he'll be back. He may have to take a little bit of a pay cut based off the money and cap wise for the team, but he did not make any certain claims of his future beyond this year. So Cameron Heyward, he's a little bit pissed off at the NFL and voiced concerns regarding the demanding schedule and how much it has taken a toll on the Steelers and their lack of rest days. Not only lack of rest days, but when you look at it, when you're on a short week, your preparation takes a hit as well, because usually the Steelers have a day off on Monday and then they come right back on Tuesday. But when you're on a short week, you may not get that day off. You may just have to go right into preparation for the game right away because you have one less day, or if it's on a Thursday game, you have 3 less days to prepare. So you look at the schedule and then you look at the preparation and the biggest games going down to December, trying to make the playoffs. You have so much less time for preparation. They had less time for the Patriots game to prepare, then against the Colts, and then this past week against the Bengals, and then against the Ravens as well. They have so much less time of preparation for each game because of the less time in between games and just trying to get right with the body. So they have to go into preparation probably right away and maybe don't even get a rest day at all, in which they usually get. But there's concerns, and Cameron Heyward on his podcast as well. Enough with that situation. He was talking about the quarterback and all the drama that has been going around with the quarterback situation with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky, Mike Tomlin, and all of that. And this is what he had to say about it. I don't think that's true at all. My understanding was that if Kenny Pickett was going to be out there against Seattle, he was going to be out there. I can't believe we are talking about this. Why is this even a story? Can we just worry about football and playoffs? We got enough to focus on the Ravens. We need to win this game, and there's a scenario where we can get into the playoffs. Can't that just be enough? Do you really need to find Kenny's not starting now? Let's find something else. I'm just over it at this point. So, obviously, this has to do with the Kenny Pickett situation where a report came out that he did not want to be the backup quarterback to Mason Rudolph. He just didn't want to play at all. So that's why he was made inactive, even though he was a healthy player. And Mike Tomlin said that he was healthy. But then Kenny Pickett, a day later, he came out and said those reports are attacking his character. That's not what happened at all. He was not healthy enough. So that's why he did not play in the game. That's why he was not the backup. He did not ask to not play or be inactive. But that was just a decision made by coach. That's what he had to say a day later from those reports. But obviously Cameron Heyward, the team, they all hear that noise. Your players, Kenny Pickett, he heard that noise as well. That's why he had to say something a day later to kind of clear up the comments. But when all those reports and negative things are going around the building and you're trying to focus on a game, sometimes it could be distracting. So Cameron Heyward just wants to focus on football. And obviously Kenny Pickett, Cameron Heyward, Christian Kuntz, the person who was with Cameron Heyward on the podcast, did not agree with those reports, do not like it, and that's just kind of outside noise affecting the team. But it's not right, and the Steelers need to win this game. Cameron Heyward is right. The Steelers do have a chance to make the playoffs, and they have a good one. So let's see if they can do it. Let's see, even though the schedule makers have put the Steelers in a bad situation, the Ravens look like they're resting most of their players. So the Steelers have to win this game. Need some other stuff to happen in order to make the playoffs. But those are Cameron Heyward's thoughts on the Steelers situations and stories going around with the team right now, and kind of his opinion of being pissed off at the NFL schedule makers. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. But let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on the situation of Cameron Heyward calling out the NFL because of the schedule making and putting them on those short weeks and taking a toll on the body. And the Kenny Pickett situation, in which Cameron Heyward said is nonsense and just outside noise. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you can get notified whenever I post next year's video. I post every single day, so if you want to stay in tuned for everything of your Steelers football, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. And I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.